see? We can see. Yes, we can. Okay. All right. So here's the. This is what we're doing here. We're getting ready to send out soil tests. I think we went, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 soil tests. While I was away in the Philippines, Timothy here was working. Way off camera, you can be over here. Timothy and my father went out and pulled some soil tests before we had all this crappy rain weather. So what we're doing is we are getting ready to send them out. Now, I can't give them to the fertilizer plant in yogurt containers. So Timothy has baggies here someplace. What do we got here? Oh, cool. Ziploc baggies. And Ziploc baggies are great because they have a place where you can actually write on the bag as to what it is, where it came from, and and all that wonderful stuff, because there's information that they need to have in order to get the analyzed soil, the results to the soil back to me, and so that I know which farm and which field it came from. Now, we've only pulled 9 tests, which is basically 9 fields. This is a broad spectrum of land. It's not to pinpoint its properties that we've farmed for many years, and we're just trying to find out what the pH is, trying to find out what the potash level is. Phosphate levels were always high on these farms, and the other thing is maybe boron, zinc, copper, any of that stuff. So that's what we're trying to find out. And I know that a lot of people don't really go into this on their YouTube channels. I do know that Ryan from How Farms Works, he has touched on some of the do's and don'ts and the things that you do to get your ground where it needs to be. But I've never done it for you, and it's pretty simple. Let's say this is a 12-acre field. Okay, it's a 12-acre field. It's not exactly straight, but it's as straight as it's going to get. When you're going to take a soil test, you don't just go over and grab like this, like take your pickup truck and drive in one corner out through the middle and come out like that, like a lot of people will do. What you kind of want to do is you kind of want to make these lines across your field. You're going to pull a test here, and pull test here, pull test here, pull test here, pull test here, blah, 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 all the way across your field, and then you're going to go to this side of the field, and you're going to do this, 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 this. So you're kind of going in a zigzag pattern across your field. And when you're done, you will have a rather large amount of soil here in these little cups. You want to go down pretty much in the root zone. We call them roots here, not roots like they do out west. Roots. I know they call them roots, but it's roots here in the United States. In New Jersey, we call them roots. So before you send your soil off to be analyzed, you actually have to mix it up. You break it up into clumps. So Tim, you're going to have to come up with a somewhat, that's the bucket that we use?
Yeah.
Okay, take that bucket. And what we're going to do, each and every one of these, is we're going to pour it into the bucket, like so. Now I'm sure there's some of you out there saying I'm contaminating it somehow, but we're just trying to find pH, potash, and maybe some of the minor elements like zinc, copper, boron. So Timothy's going to bust that up with something, say, a hoe. You can do that. We're not testing for iron, which is fine. We're not really, maybe I'm doing this somewhat wrong. Usually, I know if you use your hands it can affect the acidity, but I'm an alkaline body, so it can actually raise the pH. And if you don't know what an alkaline body is, then you need to look that up. So, it's always just a really good idea to smash it to the point and get it to the point where it is looking like this. Alright. Now the dirt has to be dry before it goes in to be analyzed. And they're going to test for organic matter. Look at that, the grass is already growing. They're going to test for organic matter and other things also. So, first things first, that's what you do. You smash it up. You mix it up so that it's a thorough mix throughout that whole, let me put the tripod down. So it's a thoroughly mixed up for that whole 12-acre field, or 20-acre field, or 30-acre field, or 5-acre field, or maybe this is from my lawn, I don't know. Go get me a pair of rubber gloves so I don't actually touch this with my hands, because it will change. You use your bare hands, it will change it a little bit. Not much, just a little, and you know, that's just the way it was told to me 100,000 years ago when I was a young man, maybe 10 years of age. And yeah, so you don't need all your soil that you took. You just need a sample of it. So I'm just going to get myself some rubber gloves or some nitrile, what do you call them, gloves? I see you've been down to Napa. Smooth moves, X-Lax. What's that going on there? Brand new ones that are garbage.
They didn't have the Ravens down there.
Yeah, we like the Ravens. Actually, these don't feel too bad. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So my handwriting is pretty atrocious, and this Sharpie is kind of worn. But really, all you got to do is get it written on there, and then scoop yourself up a handful of dirt. Like a shower. Whoop. We don't need that guy. I'm thinking that's more than enough. Right? Actually, there might be a one. There's just enough in there. Okay. Take this dirt and dump it out the other side of the building.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. No dark sarcasm in the classroom. Teacher, leave them kids alone. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
Okay, so I'm going to take this out in the sunlight so you can see a little bit closer as to what's in there. Because these farms are all hay fields for many years, they have a lot of organic matter in them. So you gotta, I'm sure it's going to come back with some beautiful organic matter in it. There's something almost looks like a coin. But anyway, yeah, so you got all that dirt in there, or that soil. That soil will go to probably Rutgers. Yes, Rutgers. I'm pretty sure that's where they send them to. And they'll come back with the analysis and the recommendations for growing that crop of hay. Generally, hay doesn't take a lot. It's mostly nitrogen, potash for one. I don't think I'm short on potash. Is that my phone?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard something. Yeah, I don't think our land is short in potash, but we're going to find out. That's just the beginning. I'm probably going to be pulling soil tests, and I'll show you a little bit more of that when it dries out. As you can see, we are in major meltdown. There's water running everywhere, snow piled up. Spring is kind of messed up. All the crocuses and all the all the daffodils, they came up and then froze, and I have a hyacinth behind my house which I watch grow every year, and it is brown, so the poor bastard got cooked. But other than that, this is just part of what we go through, not every year on hay ground, but for the most part, more often than what you would think. You know, if I was growing corn and soybeans, I'd be pulling soil and tissue samples off. Soil now, tissue later, after the corn or soybeans are up to, you know, to see what is necessary to get the crop, the most out of the crop, till the end, you know, before it's fully developed and, you know, it's too late. So if you, you know, and you can do recovery programs on, even on hay you can. Like second cut hay, if you go in and your hay wasn't very good the first go round and you're like, God, I'd like to get a second cut off there, you pull a soil test out. Within a week, you know what the heck to put down, and they may ask you, you know, they may recommend that you, you know, I don't know, nitrogen for sure, but potash, sulfur is another big one. We're more than likely short on sulfur because the last few years, you know, the last time I pulled soil tests, we were getting low on sulfur because we're not getting it from the air anymore. Clean Air Act. Diesel fuel, they take the sulfur out of diesel fuel, they stop burning coal, you don't get any sulfur, any free sulfur, so you got to buy it, and sulfur is getting expensive. And as a lot of farmers know, if you're a non-farmer, you don't know, but if you're a farmer, you know, the most efficient way to get sulfur on your ground is using ammonium sulfate, which is expensive, but it is what it is. Your availability is off the chart, whereas if you were to use, like, say, battery acid from the Deca battery plant, or any battery plant, you're only going to get 2% of that sulfur that you put on the ground the first year. It's a slow release type of thing. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video, and probably in the next week, you're going to see me and Timothy and my father out sticking a stainless steel probe into the ground again, pulling soil tests off of some other fields, you know, to see where we need to be and what's the best all-around fertilizer for this ground. Whether I go through with nitrogen and then come back with something else, which is what I'm expecting to have to do, you know, or whether I'm going to be using a blend. And the blend could be, you know, it could be something, I don't know what it's going to be. You're going to find out along with me, right, Tim?
Yes.
You can put those back in the shop because you're not snowmobiling. He's using welding glasses to snowmobile with. What a freaking nut, right?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It keeps the snow blindness away.
Snow blindness. You are snow blind. Anyways, thanks for watching.